Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and I'm an attorney that assists physician assistants with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about kind of what I look for when I'm reviewing an offer letter for a physician assistant. So, first, what's the difference between an offer letter and an employment agreement? Well, not every place is going to give you an offer letter. Some places will go straight to, here's your contract, look it over, negotiate, whatever you want to do. While others will start with an offer letter that kind of breaks down the basic parts of, or maybe the highlights of what your employment contract will be. And then once those are agreed upon, or you sign the offer letter, then they'll send it to their attorney, and then the attorney will draft the full agreement. Now, is an offer letter agreement binding? That's probably the number one question I get. I could say for the most part, no, it's not. Unless there's specific language that states the terms of this offer letter are binding, which almost never happens, and I certainly wouldn't, advise anyone sign. The terms of the offer letter are not binding. Now, you can even negotiate different terms, even if you signed an offer letter and then received the contract. And let me break down why. There are many situations where, you're going to get a sentence about malpractice insurance or the compensation structure of how you're paid. And then when you get the full contract, it is very different than what was listed in the offer letter. And in those scenarios, you don't have to just accept it because you signed the offer letter. You can certainly negotiate after you have signed the offer letter. Now, an employer sometimes will not, take kindly to that. And they'll say, look, you agreed to the offer letter. These are the terms that you agreed to, and we expect that you're going to, agree to them in the contract as well. And that's just more of a strategy or negotiation point more than anything. It's whether it's that important to you to get changes made in the contract. Now, I would never encourage anyone to sign a contract that they feel uncomfortable with. So if there are parts of an offer letter that sounded, great when you read a sentence of it, and then when you read the full agreement, it's something completely different, don't just accept it because the employer is mad at you for, asking for changes after signing an offer letter. Ultimately, an offer letter, although it's helpful and breaks down the main terms of a deal, when you see the full contract and have the full context of seeing all of the different terms in the contract, it can make things, that sounded great before, not so great. Or perhaps, maybe the non-compete was much more restrictive than they made it sound in the offer letter. And so you're going to say, look, I'm not going to agree to this super restrictive non-compete unless you bump up my compensation by $10,000. That's something you can do as well. So what should go in an offer letter? The basic stuff: your compensation, who pays for malpractice and tail insurance, maybe what the benefits are: health, vision, dental, disability, life, retirement, dues and fees, continuing education, time off, how much notice has to be given to terminate the contract. Are there any bonuses involved? Signing bonus, relocation bonus, retention bonus, productivity bonuses when it comes, to the actual work that you perform. So, kind of the main highlights. It doesn't need to be extremely detailed. Most offer letters are about a page, and that's it. And so, as I said before, once you sign the offer letter, it doesn't mean that you can't negotiate after the fact. However, some employers will not take kindly to that, and then you're going to have to decide whether signing an agreement that might not be up to what you were expecting is worth it, or you can negotiate, perhaps take them off. Maybe they yank the offer, who knows. But as I said earlier, it is not a good idea to sign an agreement that you are not comfortable with, because this is something that you're going to have to stick with, could be for many years, and just doesn't make sense to sign something that you're automatically unhappy with. Like, just on like a mental level, if you sign a contract you're unhappy with and then start with the employer, those feelings aren't going to go away over time. Generally, those bad feelings carry over into the new job. and eventually you're going to be unhappy enough to give notice and leave. So that's a little breakdown on offer letters for physician assistants. If you have any questions about an employment contract or independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact my law firm. All our contact info is listed below in the description. And I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks. Take care.